India, where more than 1.4 million people live, a country of old traditions, ancient architecture, and an economy running towards the future. But behind the facade of technological innovation and cultural diversity, there is a harsh reality. A reality no one really wants to talk about, one that people usually overlook or even fail to notice. Yes, India is beautiful. Yes, it is diverse. But the shocking truth, one of the most unhygienic as well, from overflowing dump sites that reach as long as the eyes can see to poisoned air that chokes whole cities, this is life in India that no travel blogger will show you. If you think it can't be more exaggerated than this, no, it's a total reality millions of people are facing. And trust me, it gets even worse. So, let's dive deep into a country where sanitation is a privilege, not a right. Picture this: Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, India's biggest and busy cities. These places buzz with life, with a surge of energy, culture, and yes, history. But there is a vibrant chaos that lies behind the shades, and no one will ever tell you about it. Air thick with pollution, overwhelmed sewage system, and garbage-filled streets. Even in 2025, despite the government's huge initiative, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Clean India mission, India remains one of the most unhygienic countries in the world. But why is it like that? One word will describe the rest: mismanagement. Imagine cities like Delhi, with over 20 million people, and yet its waste management is a disaster. Public toilets are a rarity, and if you happen to find one by luck, it's usually another disaster waiting for you. And frankly speaking, the issue isn't about poor planning or mismanagement. It's the attitude of people as well. Most of the people litter without blinking. Public defecation is so normal and prevalent you will find it everywhere. And hygiene awareness. Don't get me started on this. It's nowhere to be found. And the most surprising fact, no laws and regulations to address this. So, a serious question is, why is a country with a booming economy and space missions struggling to keep it sideways clean? Let's explore the answer together. Imagine yourself strolling through a city with streets filled with plastic bags, rotted food, and mounts of trash that never seems to go away. If you believe that's the right thing, no, it isn't. But this is a daily reality for Indian cities. India produces more than 62 million tons of garbage every year. That's greater than the aggregate waste of Germany, UK, and France combined. And here's to your surprise: only 20% of it is properly managed. The rest? It festers in the streets, clogs in drains, and litters illegal dump sites. In cities like Delhi and Kolkata, there are mountains of trash. Literally, some landfills stretch higher than the Taj Mahal. And they're not just revolting to look at. They're breeding grounds for rats, mosquitoes, and killer diseases. Why does this happen? Because India's waste management system is in shambles. Most cities don't have a garbage collection system, and most of the Indians still dump their trash in the open. And the worst part? Most of the poor people live right next to the trash mountains, breathing in toxic fumes every day. Let's take a moment to talk about something even more alarming: open defecation. Picture waking up early in the morning, walking out of your house, only to find dozens of people squatting in the open, defecating in the daylight. India has been battling with the defecation crisis for decades, but all in vain. People release themselves in fields, along railway tracks, on roadways, and even on beaches. In rural areas and urban slums, millions of people still lack access to proper sanitation. A total of 19% of the Indian population still defecates in public. Why did this happen? For years and more, Indian homes quite literally didn't have toilets. Even now, when the government has constructed toilets, people prefer to go out. And the result? A hygiene nightmare. Human waste pollutes water, spreads lethal diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and diarrhea, and transforms localities into huge toilets. A massive symbol of India's waste problem: Delhi's Ghazipur landfill. Ghazipur is known as India's tallest garbage dump. It spans an area larger than a football field and continues to grow every year. The stench is overwhelming, and the toxic air is causing severe health issues. Thousands of rag pickers, many of them children, search through the mountains of waste for recyclables, often risking their health in the process. But this work, while dangerous, is their only source of income. In fact, thousands of children working in landfills have been injured by sharp objects or even crushed by garbage trucks. It's an issue no one talks about. If there is one destination in India that exhibits the dichotomy between spirituality and pollution, it's the Ganges River. The Ganges is revered by tens of millions as India's holiest river, but it's also its most polluted river. Take a deep breath before hearing this. Liters of sewage are poured into it every day. Bodies' human corpses are tossed into the river due to religious reasons. Tanneries, factories, and chemical plants release poisonous waters into the river every single day. And yet millions of people bathe and drink from it because they think it will cleanse them. And yet, what they don't know is that it also infects them with lethal infections. The Indian government has spent millions to cleanse the river, but the issue runs so deep that it could take decades to correct. If you have ever been to India, you're aware that Indian street food is the stuff of legend. Spicy samosas, sizzling kebabs, tangy pani puri, a foodie's paradise. But here's the thing that most tourists don't know. Some of this food is teeming with bacteria, dust, and even human spit. Ever witness a vendor washing dirty plates in a bucket of dirty black water? Ever seen flies hovering over the food that's been out for hours? Ever heard of a person getting food poisoning to an extent they are put into a hospital? Yes, that's what happens with street food in India. The surprising part is, people have no access to clean water. They reuse oil multiple times until it becomes a cancer-causing substance. They cook food using bare hands, not gloves, and not sanitizing their hands properly. And surprise after surprise, millions of Indians consume this day after day. Of course, not everything in street food is bad. Some vendors really care about hygiene. But the truth is, you never know what's really going on behind that food stand. Okay, so let's imagine this. You wake up, see outside your window, and instead of a stunning sunrise, a dark gray cloud of smog. That's life in the cities of Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai, where the pollution in the air is so severe that it is like smoking 50 cigarettes a day. 21 of the world's 30 most polluted cities are in India, and when winter comes, the air is so toxic to breathe that people struggle to breathe. But the pollution doesn't stop there. In fact, it's one of the biggest health risks in India, causing around 2.5 million premature deaths every year. The toxic smog that blankets cities like Delhi comes from a combination of industrial emissions, vehicle exhaust, and construction dust. And in the winter, things only get worse. The Delhi smog becomes so thick that it disrupts schools, cancels flights, and makes outdoor activities impossible. On top of this, nearly 70% of India's water is contaminated. Rivers like the Yamuna and Ganga, once considered sacred, are filled with untreated sewage and industrial waste. Around 900 million Indians, roughly 70% of the population, lack access to safe drinking water. That's a massive number, and it leads to thousands of waterborne diseases each year. Now let's discuss the economic cost of this pollution. In 2019, air pollution had cost Indian companies $95 billion, with losses arising from lost productivity, absent employees, and early deaths. The economic burden is increasing as companies in places such as Delhi lose productivity because of the perpetual smog. According to research, the poisonous air is responsible for 18% of all Indian deaths, adding further pressure on the healthcare system. The figures are even more alarming in Delhi, where air pollution is estimated to result in a loss of as much as 6% of the GDP every year. This doesn't only damage business, it also impacts tourism, which experiences a sharp decline in tourists during the smog season. The air is so poor that foreign tourists steer clear of Delhi altogether during the winter season, citing health concerns. The question on everyone's lips: can India solve its hygiene crisis? The response? Possibly, but it'll be ages. The Indian government has initiated huge campaigns, and change is occurring. More cities have waste segregation units now, more individuals have clean water at their disposal, and hygiene awareness is starting to spread. But let's not be blinded. India has a way to go yet. So, is India the most unhygienic country in the world? Well, the problems are huge, but the solutions are out there. What do you think is the solution to India's hygiene problems? Let's start the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to stay updated on this ongoing issue. Together, we can make a difference. See you in the next video.